Howdy, I'm Alex, and today I'm here to tell you about Pot of Gold, a short dystopian comedy film about leprechauns. Let's start with the logline. When a homeless veteran seeks shelter in a dystopian world, he gets more than he bargained for upon finding a pot of gold and the flesh-hungry leprechauns that guard it. That's the premise of Pot of Gold. It's Rambo meets Gremlins in a digestible short film format, allowing for a fast-paced, balls-to-the-walls exploration of injustice and class divide. The film opens during a torrential rainstorm, focusing first on the grids of skyscrapers, then the advertisements plastered across them, and then the workers, and then the veteran. He's gripping onto a struggling umbrella with a small, empty cup by his side. The umbrella begins to fall apart, and naturally he runs for shelter. He's desperate, so he throws himself into a nearby bin in an alleyway. He's at his lowest here. Nobody cares about him. Nobody wants him. He's got nothing. And suddenly he feels something. Something heavy, something metal. The rain stops, and he rises out of the bin, clutching a pot of gold as a rainbow blasts across his chest. And of course, he's ecstatic. He jumps for joy, he climbs out of the bin, but he starts to hear some raspy voices taunting him from the shadows. And they reveal themselves to be the leprechauns, the hoarders of the world's wealth, the directors on every board, the ones always pulling the strings behind the scenes. And they see his physique, and frankly, he's rigged. They don't particularly want to fight with him, so they try to cut a deal instead. They'll give him fame, they'll get him a job, they just want their gold back. Now, the veterans had promises made to him before, promises ultimately conjured by these leprechauns. He's had enough of promises, he's had enough of deals, so he smashes one of them into a wall. He wants justice. And what ensues is a chaotic, comedic bloodbath, as the seemingly never-ending horde of leprechauns meet their doom at the hands of our sub-working class protagonist. And ultimately he prevails. Or does he? Walking out of the alleyway, he looks to the sky and sees countless more rainbows in the distance, of course implying that it isn't over. It's never over. And really what Pot of Gold aims to explore is how fights against injustice seem to never end. Our hero fights to the death, he kills hundreds of leprechauns, but there are still millions more. One corrupt CEO stepping down won't solve all of the world's financial problems, and what we really need is systemic change. I think this film needs to be made now more than ever, as in the UK especially, class divide is rampant. The Equality Trust states that the UK has a very high level of income equality, especially compared to other developed countries. I hope by highlighting this with a pretty bizarre metaphor that the audience will come for the goofs and they'll come for the gore and leave with something more. As someone who grew up in the Northeast, the North-South divide and the wider class divide as a whole has pervaded many elements of my life, especially in regards to opportunity or lack thereof. I think I should be the one to make this as a result, as a pretty bonkers expression of frustration at a flawed system. Thank you very much.